What's good, Shellitronnn here, the most woke, no joking. I'm back at again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. I'm kind of confused right now. This is a weird feeling for me because I feel like I actually have to applaud the NFL right here. They actually got something right in a timely manner, and their response was actually pretty appropriate and better than what I expected it to be. If you guys haven't known, this news just got dropped very, very recently. Though this week from Ian Rappaport, he says that after the investigation into the hashtag Panthers owner Jerry Richardson, now ex-owner, by U.S. Attorney Mary Jo White, she released 4 main findings below. Basically, we all know what happened, man. Jerry Richardson, he had the sexual misconduct stuff, he had the racial misconduct, and once that became public, he wanted to sell his team to like get away from the public ire and to not ruin his legacy. Keep in mind, the league did not make him sell his team. They didn't force his hand at all. He decided to do this. So, and it's kind of cool that the league actually said, you know what, we're going to continue on with this investigation. You selling the team isn't going to be the end of the story here. We want to make sure we get this right. After getting so many things wrong, domestic violence, other sexual misconduct type of things. Let's look back at 2009 to 2010 with Ben Roethlisberger. If you have any Steelers fans in the chat, sorry guys. If that happened today, in today's age, Ben will be out of the league this very second. This isn't about Ben though. This is about the NFL finally getting something right. So let's go ahead and go straight on PIP right now, man. There's the PDF file from the official NFL PDF showing about saying what happened. Look. It's kind of long. It's not that long, but it's a little bit long. But bear with me because this is actually very important information. So the short of it is basically Jerry Richardson was fined $2.7 million to support organizations addressing race and gender-based issues and fund league-wide workplace training. Now, there's 2 main things you have to look at here. First, he was fined, well, 3, I guess. First, he was fined. Even though he isn't the owner anymore, they said, nah, bro, you're not going to get off easy. You may not actually be part of the league anymore, but when this stuff happened, when we investigated this stuff, you were. You're not going to you can't just escape what the bad things you did by running away from them. It's like, no, you were in the league when this stuff happened. Therefore, you're responsible for those actions, and we're responsible for you. So you just leaving doesn't make you like, okay, well, he's untouchable now. Nah, you were our responsibility when you were in the league doing these things, and you're not gonna run away from it. So he was fined. That money doesn't go to the league. That money doesn't go to Roger Goodell or the Players Association. That money goes to organizations addressing race and gender-based issues, and I'll get to that in a second. That's a little bit lower in the list. And then also to fund league-wide workplace training. So not only is this just going to benefit other people in the community, but it's also going to have effects on the other 31 teams to make sure that, look, you're all put on notice. You can't do any of this stuff. But basically, let's go through this really quickly. Roger Goodell just announced the findings of Mary Jo White. And basically, she's saying that he tried to cover everything up. Let's go through the 4 findings. I think this other stuff right here, I'll leave a link to this PDF in the description below so you can read it for yourself if you choose to. But basically, all stuff here is saying that the Panthers, basically, everyone was cooperative and there wasn't any kind of like static between her and the team, the officials, current and ex-employees. But the 4 main findings were, first, the review identified each of the allegations that were both publicly reported as well as things that weren't even reported. So there was more incidents that happened in the organization that weren't publicly reported, which you can only wonder what exactly happened. Second, like I said, the investigation wasn't just limited to the matters that were publicly reported, and there was a lot of different things in there. So even if they weren't really looking to find those things, they found them, and it wasn't like it was like just some random, unreliable kind of source. There was good evidence that these other things that weren't publicly reported actually happened. So it's not like a he said, she said kind of thing where it's kind of doubtful. Third, the improper conduct was limited to just Jerry Richardson. So apparently after the investigation, it wasn't like it was a team-wide or organization-wide rampant type of thing like how it was with, what was it, the Texans? Or who was it again? I forgot who it was. No, it was like the Mavericks, when the Mavericks had their big thing. But it was just Jerry Richardson, so it wasn't a big huge issue, which is really great to see. That's like the second biggest thing for me. I'm glad it wasn't like a top down type of thing. Like, well, Jerry Richardson was a creep and kind of a scumbag, I guess. So like, it's not like he allows kind of this type of community and culture in the organization, so other people kind of follow his lead. But fourth, the most important thing here is that the investigation also confirmed that the Panthers and its ownership did not report any of the claims. They didn't report any of the things that were public, any things that were private. I mean, even if they were private, you can still report them to the NFL league office or anyone else, like, or the police, I guess, commission. I don't know how that kind of works with big name organizations. But none of these things were reported by anyone, and that's a huge oversight in the policy that the NFL had, and that even the club's limited partners, the other families involved, they did not know. They had no idea this stuff was going on. So I mean, this is crazy that it actually got reported and no one knew about it. Basically, no one knew about it until these women stepped up, and that's why it's so important for, I think, women to actually report these kind of things, because even if sometimes it gets covered up, but sometimes, like in this situation, no one knew. No one knew. And then there was obviously a bunch of evidence that proved, yo, this actually happened. And like I said, the money's going to be used to support specific organizations that relate to people of color and women's struggles and issues. Things like the three organizations are the Beauty for Ashes Ministry Incorporated, which is located in Charlotte, the Black Women's Blueprint, which is located in Brooklyn, New York, and the Women of Color Network Incorporated, which is located in Pennsylvania. And it's really important that the money that Jerry Richardson was fined, that $2.75 million, goes to organizations that were specifically targeted and geared toward the kinds of people that he targeted and tried to victimize. So, I mean, I'll have the link in the description below if you want to read about what they do. I'm not going to get to all that right now. But what I want to get to right now is the most important thing about this whole situation. The best thing to come out of this, why I have to absolutely applaud the NFL, is that in addition, White has made a number of recommendations of broader applicability for the league, so that not only it won't just affect the Panthers, but the league as a whole. The biggest thing here is a specific prohibition of using non-disclosure agreements to limit reporting of potential violations or cooperation in league investigations under the personal conduct policy. Look, this is so important. This is so important. So now people who rank higher than you in the league or in your organization, they can't buy your silence anymore. Legally, they cannot buy this is just proposing that people above you cannot buy your silence, whether you're the victim yourself or if you're a witness to certain types of misconduct and violations, so that these reports to the NFL are always accurate, timely, and there's no pushback, and there's no hindering of the process for the NFL to get things right, because we want to make sure. I mean, we want to make sure that everything is done the right way, and it makes so that the money you have doesn't exclude you from the laws that everyone else has to adhere to. There's some other things about how workplace misconduct things are going to be reported. There's going to be an implementation of a hotline and a review a workplace, so that everyone's going to have some kind of training and a revamping of how organizations handle these kind of things. And also, there's going to be another review of the Panthers and to see and have a report of how these things are working out for us specifically. But I imagine that the other 31 teams are also going to have some kind of like report to do, or some sort of follow-up thing with the NFL and other, I guess, private investigators. Either way, that's a mouthful, and I'm glad you guys stuck around for this part of the video this long. But honestly, this is such a good, I really can't, I'm so surprised that the NFL actually got something right. It took a few months, but it had to go ahead and do the whole investigation, and they didn't stop just when Jerry Richardson said, I'm going to sell the team. They're like, okay, well, he's gone now, so that's the problem. They made sure that they still investigated, they made it public what their findings were, and they're still trying to do things to help out those communities that he hurt, and trying to build up the NFL in general, not just saying, okay, well, this situation we got to handle here. All 32 teams, we're having a full league-wide change in our policy to make sure that things are better in the future. And honestly, Roger Goodell, you got something right. But what do y'all think, man? I know this is a lot. You can find all this stuff in the description below if you want to read it out for yourself. What do you think, man? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Or my Twitter, @Shellitronnn. Same as the channel name, bro. You already know to do with that like button. I got a button right here to subscribe. A button right here for you to watch more videos. Namaste. Back sooner than you think.